Quick insights, big impacts with Cass Concepts and Cassie Yoder. Today, we're going to get a lesson on why words matter.
Yes. You know what, Bub? It's actually our tagline. We use it a lot at Cass Concepts, and it's something we joke about internally, whether we're writing a press release, whether it's a caption that's going on a social media post, writing for a client, their entire, about me, or a new page on their website, what that looks like. Words matter.
Absolutely.
It really does.
And we begin with clarity over cleverness.
Yeah, one of the things that we kind of look at is that a lot of times when people start writing, or whether it's, even if it's something simplistic like a social media post, you're posting something to Facebook, okay? They want to sound really smart, really edgy, or whatever that looks like. And what you start to think about, and the question that we ask from a marketing agency is, are you asking, is this speaking to your audience in the right way? So a lot of times they're trying to be super clever and super witty, but is that really how you would talk to a client that walks through your door? If somebody calls you and says, hey, I'm really interested in your services, is the persona that you're projecting out on your website and on your social media the same as the person answering the phone, or when they sit down with you as a CEO or the business owner? Is that how they're going to? So in a lot of ways, sometimes it doesn't mesh. Mm-hmm. And that's really important too. So you want to have that clarity. But another side of that clarity is also just even the way that you describe your business. Let me give you an example. I had a client a couple years ago that started a coaching company. So business coaching, life coaching, and whatnot, and was really interested in just having a tagline of level up. She thought it was simplistic. She thought it was great. And we had lots of conversations, dynamic conversations is what I will say. And in the end, absolutely was hunkering down and was no, this is what I'm doing. I'm using Level Up. Okay. And within the first 2 weeks of being open, from the ribbon cutting to the online presence with social media, people kept asking so are you a fitness club? Are you a gym? Are you a personal trainer? Because to them, the words level up really felt more physical as opposed to the mental side of things. And that was a really difficult conversation to have because it was something she was incredibly passionate about. Now, that's not to say that you can't use some of that terminology in other ways in content, but to have it as your main tagline, really, yes, it was clever, but at the same time, there was no clarity. So the switch happened and the phrases of online coaching were put into her tagline, and then there was no question.
Yeah.
They knew what she was. They knew what you were going to get from her.
Boom. Well, as well as I do, working in radio stations, when we say today's country and all-time favorites, that tells the story.
That's what you're listening to.
You have a few words to tell the story, and you got to make the most of them.
Yes, it's so true. You don't always have the opportunity to go in and explain yourself,
yeah.
Nor do you want to. I feel like if you don't have that level of clarity, you're going to miss the mark when it comes to consistency, when it comes to setting the tone. All of that, you don't always get a redo. You don't get a do-over. So first impression, if it lands with confusion.
Words set the mood, and consistency builds trust too, right?
Yeah, it really is true. And I think that that's really, whether it is something that is playful, whether it's bold, calming, quirky, it doesn't matter. The emotional tone of your brand is very important. And so to give you an example with this really ties in from a consistency standpoint and also the mood or the tone of your business. We've had before where clients will say, well, I will just have, I'm going to give fake names. I'll just have Jan who answers the phone. She can post on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then also Claire, our intern, she can come and she can do some stuff on Tuesday, Thursday, maybe on the weekends, help with the website. Okay, that seems all well and good in theory. But ultimately, when you have one person who has a very distinct writing or speaking tone, and you also then have this intern who's maybe been with a company for a month, you're going to get a different mood. You're going to get shifts. So what that feels like to a customer who is following you, whether it's on social media or whether they're hopping onto your website, all of a sudden it seems very inconsistent, and you're trying to figure out, what is the tone of this company? Mm-hmm. What am I going to get when I walk in through the doors? And the final thing really comes down to this consistency thing. So words matter in a way that when it is inconsistent, it then kind of throws up a red flag to a potential client of are you really going to take care of my needs? Because it seems like even just typing out a caption on your Facebook page seems difficult. I don't know if you're going to be able to handle the problems that I have. Those are things that you don't want to have a customer feel. You want that to all be done before they even step foot to your doors, or whether they're ready to pick up the phone and call you.
How do we get a hold of you?
Well, it's pretty simple. You can find us online at castconcepts.com, or of course, if you are on Facebook or Instagram, or find us on LinkedIn, you can just check us out, start the conversation, see what your business needs, and sometimes just even having the initial conversation. That's all it is. It's not about a